Alright, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be tying a Griffiths gnat. Starting to warm up here a little bit in New York, or hopefully it's going to soon. And midges are going to start hatching. I mean, they have already been hatching, but they're going to start hatching more consistently on these warmer days. And Griffiths gnats are an extremely important fly to have. So I figured they're also quite easy to tie. There's not a lot going on with them, but they do catch a ton of fish. So, I figured it would be a good fly to tie to show you guys. Also, it's a good fly to start learning how to tie flies with because, there's not a lot going on, but you can still practice tying your hackles, and that's not the easiest thing. So we're going to be starting with a size 18 hook, which is a little smaller, but for a Griffiths gnat, it's kind of the perfect size I've found. We're going to be using a size 18 dry fly hook. Daiichi 1180 is my favorite, but you guys use whatever you want. I just really like Daiichi. I think it's, they might be a little bit on the pricier side, I'm not really sure, but it's definitely worth paying a little bit extra for. Their hooks are awesome. So as you can see, I started making my wraps with this. This is actually, I should have said, 70 denier ultra thread. I like, this thread's really good. Although it does flatten out on you, so you just gotta twist your bodkin and it just will tighten back up. All right, so got that on there. For tools also, figured I'd show you guys little hackle pliers. These are really important because the feathers that I'm using are not very long. They're actually really short, and that's because I'm using a grizzly cape. I like getting the capes, they're much more budget friendly. I think a lot of these guys that tie flies are, not really, thinking about that. A lot of like tutorials and stuff. But you get a lot more flies out of a rooster cape. I've had this for over a year. I've probably tied 100 flies with it, and I still have a lot more feathers on it, obviously. So I think that was a good purchase. I do have a couple of pre-strung hackles, but that's for like really precise dry flies, and the Griffiths gnat really, in my mind, is not one of those, so I'm not really worried about that. So the next thing, this ingredient to this or material is peacock strung herl. I'm using Nature Spirit for this. They're pretty good. Some of the herls can be a little bit thin, not so like fluffy. The fluffier ones are better, obviously, but it's fine. They get the job done. All right, so I plucked a feather from the rooster cape that I think should fit size 18. One thing you could do to check to see if it's going to be the correct length is you just bend it around the hook shank, and if it flares out to the right length, then you got a good feather. So this one kind of fits the bill. I notched the end of the feather here so that when I make my wraps to tie it in, which I'm going to do now, it locks it in kind of like an anchor right there. And what that does, is it just prevents it from slipping out. A lot of the problems with that you'll have with Griffiths gnats are that they'll come undone after you catch a couple fish on them, and this really helps kind of prevent that from happening, I found. And a lot of the ones I've bought from fly shops come undone, and I think it might be because they're not doing that. But so after I add in, tie in the little hackle there, I'm gonna tie in the peacock herl, just right there, not too far up, and then tie that back in, nice and flat. Okay, and as you see, I started my thread kind of in the middle of the fly, maybe in the front third, and that's really just so I don't build up the eye on these smaller hooks. if you build up too much thread on the front, by the time you have to whip finish at the end, or, you know, half fish, however you're going to secure your fly, you know, it can be really hard because you have so much thread stacked up there already. All right, now I think I'm going to try to get my bodkin out of the way here. This is a nice little feature on a vise, I will say. Helps keep your hands free, which can be a bit of an issue. All right, we're just gonna take wraps, touching wraps up the shank. Try to get a nice lay there so it's even. Going to take this off now, twist it back up to the front. Just keep going. Say we'll stop it there. All right, and then we'll lock this in. Definitely should have moved that out of the way, but that's okay. We'll lock this down here. All right, and then take some wraps in front, sort of lock it down, and then cut it as close as you can. All right, perfect. That is the easy part though. Now we have to wrap this, which is a very tiny feather, which is gonna make my life a little bit harder, but we'll see if we can do it. I'm actually going to put this there again. We lost it. Let's take this off here. Honestly, I think the hardest part of this is working around the camera. Sorry, I'll figure it out. All right, you're almost there. Perfect. Now we're gonna lock that down like that. Then we'll come in, pop that up, take some wraps to secure that back. All right. And we're gonna clip off these feathers right in front here. I've got a couple barbs stuck in the thread wraps. It always happens, honestly, but that's fine. All right, and then we're gonna whip finish on this one. I like to whip finish by hand. The tool is much easier, but when I was learning, I didn't have a whip finishing tool, so I just learned how to do it by hand. That should be fine. And then we are going to cut the thread as close as we can. And I'm going to finish it with a drop of UV resin, which was way too big of a drop. It's okay. I'm going to use this little bodkin here. Just wipe that off there. It's perfect. Make sure the eye is free, and we're just gonna hit it with the UV light for about 30 seconds. And you guys are definitely gonna see me. I'm gonna post a couple of videos, a lot more videos this spring, fly fishing related. I know on my channel it's mostly saltwater, but we're gonna do some more fly fishing. And you're gonna definitely see me use these, especially coming up early in the spring, because these flies are pretty killer for trout in my area. All right, that's good. Got a nice look at it, and that's a size 18 Griffiths gnat. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.